Welcome everybody to the Turbid Podcast. My name is Pasta Guy, and here with me today, as always, is the wonderful Cupcake Paints. Who is not a duck apparently, she's now a cat. and joining us for the first time as our special new co-host is Demophone.
Hello.
And also our special guest, JaketheArmyGuy. Say hi, Jake.
Hi, Jake. That's the most original joke I've ever told. Thank you. Please, I'll be here all week. Well, no, actually, I won't be here all week. I'll be here today and today only. So, hi, how's it going?
Yeah. So, well, I guess I'm just like, we have two new people on this stream. So, I guess, Demo, you should go first because you're the new co-host, so probably should do your introduction first, and then we'll do Jake's introduction. So, yeah, Demo, would you please, tell the podcast listening masses about yourself?
Sure. So, my name is Demophone. At least that's the name that I have online on most of my profiles. When it comes to like Undertale and Deltarune, I played Undertale back. It was like right before it exploded in popularity. It was, I think, sometime in 2015. And then I really enjoyed the game. I didn't really get super into the the community until I started watching comic dubs. Specifically, I started watching comic dubs of Dogs of Future Past, and that was a really good Undertale comic, in my opinion. A lot of fun reading that, and then from there, that's when I started getting more integrated into the Undertale community. When Deltarune came out, I was kind of I didn't really get into it initially. Like, I wasn't sure what it was, and I was kind of a couple months late to that game, but that game I'm probably just as fond of, if not more fond of, than Undertale, but I don't know if it's fair to say that, because Deltarune's not a finished game yet, though, so yeah. As far as like what I've done, I have a Tumblr, but I'm not really like active on it. I'm not much of a artist. I like writing more specifically. So on AO3, I've written a couple fanfics before. One of them was just kind of like a Joe fanfiction. One of them was like a cross between a ship fanfiction and a Joe fanfiction, and then the other that I'm currently working on is a pretty large-scale fanfiction that is based on the Deltarune fan comic Paper Trail that Lynx Griffin made. So, I think that just about covers me generally.
Yeah. Also, just a little, not serious thing, but, he is, a number one Suziel fan. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I think anybody who reads that, that second fanfic I wrote, the Joke One, Ship One, would realize that very quickly.
I mean, your literal profile picture is Noelle being flustered by Susie from Paper Trail, so that that perfectly describes both your love of Lynx Griffin's comics and your love of Suziel pretty well.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go to Jake the Army Guy, the actual guest, the special guest.
Oh, guest, yes, special. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Well, my name is Jake the Army Guy. I call myself that because my name is Jake. I served 13 years in the U.S. Army, and I think you can probably figure out that last part for yourself. that joke never lands, but I keep telling it. I don't know why. Anyway, so yeah, I only recently got into Undertale. Like, I first played the game in June of last year. And what was interesting to me is that what I first, again, I hadn't played it since it came out, but I still went in pretty much blind. Like, I didn't make any effort to avoid spoilers this whole time, despite, living on the internet. But when I went into the game, all I really knew was some character names. I knew Megalovania, and there was a weird flower. And that's pretty much all I knew about the story of Undertale. And then I played it, and then, oh my god, the pacifist ending is probably the most emotionally and thematically satisfying ending to a game I have ever experienced. And that inspired me to try my hand at Undertale fanfiction. I've been actually writing fanfiction for, almost 10 years now. But mainly in the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fandom. Yes, I am pony trash, and very proud of it.
Woo.
Yes, thank you. And I love you, random citizen. So yeah, I've basically been working on some Undertale stuff, and I've just been immersing myself in the fandom and catching up on 6, almost 7 years worth of content.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you eventually played Undertale, what specifically, or was there a person specifically who introduced you to it, or did you just kind of find it on your own? Or
Well, I mean, I've known about it since it came out. Like I said, I spent a lot of time on the internet. I am a loser anyway, after all. But like I said,
we're all losers.
Exactly. But it was one of those things where, like, everyone told me I would love it, but I just never got around to it, and I don't know why. I just kind of never did. But then last year at point, I was in a chat room, and someone was posting some art of Asgore. And I thought about it, and I realized, I've known about, like, Toriel and Azrael and Sans and all them since the beginning. But it really wasn't until, like, 2 years ago that I actually learned that Asgore was a character. And so I made a little comment of, you know what, Goat Dad needs more love. Granted, I haven't played the game, so I don't know how much of the game he is in, but still. And then I thought to myself, well, wait, technically, I don't know how much Toriel is in the game either. They should probably fix that. And so I played it. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
thank
not
you.
often that you find someone like who's how should I say this? So new to the fandom that's both creating things and also managed to somehow not get things spoiled.
Yeah, like I said, it's not like words are a thing I can use when I try. But like in the first year or two, I did tell people, "Hey, don't spoil it for me. I'm going to play it at some point."
What the hell was
That
that?
Yeah,
What?
as
It's a paper
What?
plate. It's not structurally sound.
I didn't
no,
do it, I'll
there's
deny
two
it on the
of
road.
them.
What?
There's two of them.
Hey, everybody. Excuse me for a second.
The pasta guy
has
still is
a,
pasta.
Pasta has a twin brother.
Yes. The most important of information.
Of course.
We are not professionals.
What? No. Listen, I'm telling you, this is not a joke. Having worked in the radio industry for about a year and a half, this is par for the course. You're fine.
My apologies for the sudden interruption.
The biggest skill when it comes to working in live radio is not preventing accidents from happening, but reacting to them properly. So, rolling with the punches. Because if you stop the broadcast and go, "Oh crap, dadgummit, son of a gun, what happened?" Blah blah blah, then you're done. But if you just sort of roll with it, no one will care. It actually makes for good radio. So, there's your professional growth for the day.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm here for you.
I'll make it work.
Yeah, sorry to get a bit sidetracked from that. For those who want to know, my brother came in, gave me pizza because I haven't had lunch yet. So.
Oh, well, I haven't even had breakfast yet, so you better share.
I already had a pizza today.
Where's my pizza?
It's in the mail 4 to 7 business days, okay? It's still soggy when it gets there, but it should be edible. Remember, the mold adds protein.
There's some, like, vitamin
Exactly.
D, vitamin C.
Well, it's like yogurt is a bacteria, right? So it's healthy for you. Just sprinkle a little anthrax on there, it'll make it, it'll keep the cancer away.
It's just science, guys. Jeez.
What
Yes.
doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, sorry. If I go too far with my jokes, let me know. Because, like I said, I'm an army guy, so sometimes I forget to apply the filter. So,
Yeah, it's all right. One of my friends.
As long as you keep it like PG-13. I mean, it's not a strict rule. We try to.
Yeah.
Okay. But, I'll get it.
We do
Because
try to apply it.
Yeah, because I actually was a drill sergeant for 2 years, so swearing is like a second language to me.
Well, there's swearing, and then there's creatively swearing.
Yep. There's man, some of the stuff I sell to those kids, man, that was. There was one time I told a kid something that I felt bad about. Like, I won't repeat what I said because it's not cool, but it wasn't like Okay, no, it was offensive, but not like, it wasn't like racist. It was just, okay. I told him that he was as useless as his mother in a world without genitalia, we'll say. And then, yeah, exactly. I told him that, and then at the end of the cycle, I came back and said, "Hey, Private, you remember when I told you blah, blah, blah? Yeah, that was over the line. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that." And he goes, "It's okay, Drill Sergeant." All right, then. Make sure to say it more. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm kind of curious now, like based on your background. When it came to Undertale, were there any characters specifically that you like connected with when you played through the game?
Yes, actually. My favorite character of the story is Asgore.
Heck yeah, Goat Dad.
Yeah, exactly. More love for Goat Dad.
Interesting.
It was also part of it was because, like, well, just in general, I hope this doesn't make people assume things on me, but I have a preference for stories about, like, fathers and brothers and male role models. Because, not to turn this into free internet therapy, but I never really had that growing up, so I like to read about it. So, and then also, like, once I learned the full story of what happened in the universe, that's when I really, really started to connect with Asgore. Because, for reasons that are, no one else's daggum business, I really identify with him and the situation he was put in and the decisions he made. And so, basically, between him and Toriel, I find myself more leaning towards sympathy for him than for her, but that is a whole conversation.
Yeah, that is...
It's actually why I wrote my first Undertale story.
Yeah, I read, what was it, To Save Love a day or two ago. And I enjoyed that.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, it was, I thought the ending was pretty heartwarming. What do you call it? Kind of a range of emotions throughout the story, though.
Yeah.
I ran out of time. I was only able to get through 3 chapters.
It's fine. Well, no, like, because actually, I saw one of the questions you wanted to ask. The impetus for that story was I had always liked Asgore and kind of felt like he got mistreated at the end of the game. But it wasn't until I went and played Undertale Chapter 1 and I saw how the man is like
You mean
literally
Deltarune
falling.
chapter
You
1?
mean
He's
Deltarune?
literally falling apart. Like he lives above his shop. He lives in squalor on an air mattress that's too small for him. He has no food. He's about to get evicted because he gives flowers away because he wants to make people happy. And then to see how bitter and spiteful Toriel acts towards him when you give her the flowers, and it's like the look on her face. It's like it made me upset. It made me want to stand up for him, but it was also important to me that I didn't want it to be a what they call a fix fic, which is where basically an author takes a character that made a decision they don't like and spends the whole story berating them and just screaming at them and telling them they're horrible and blah blah blah. Because that's not really what happened. Like the way I see the story of the Dreamer family, which really is the story of Undertale, through Toriel, Asgore, Azrael, and even Kara, depending on how you see her. It's a story of fundamentally good characters that wanted to do the right thing, but due to their flaws, they made tragic mistakes and have to live with the consequences.
Yeah,
And,
that's a big thing with a lot of the characters in Undertale.
Yeah. Like, obviously, Azrael's mistake was going through with the plan, and now he's, a flower. Asgore's was, he made that horrible decree and then just went with it. And then Toriel's was, instead of staying and trying to help the situation, she left. And, and that's why when I wrote the story, I wanted to bring up the points that, Toriel isn't as this perfect angel that people like to portray her as, but she's also not completely wrong. I wanted to be fair to both characters, her and Asgore. And I hope I accomplished that.
I think you accomplished that.
Yeah,
thank you.
The relationship between Asgore and Toriel is just fascinating, and I love how people use fics to explore it and all that. I also really like the whole as many of you can probably tell along with these two. When it comes to Azrael and stuff, I can literally go on for hours or about 100,000 words. If you.
Yep.
To be fair,
it's okay,
it's not just all Azrael angst in those 100,000 words. Has a whole bunch of other stuff like anime fights and romance and too many Evangelion references.
And that stuff's good, man. But yeah, it's like it is interesting to see how people, and I love seeing people explore how they see the relationship. Like me personally, I like to see them at some point getting back together because, but then I'm a hopeless romantic who believes in wild. So.
Now you want big together.
Thank you for getting that. I swear,
I love
the references I make are slowly being recognized by less and less people, and it makes me feel really freaking old.
No.
The Princess Bride is. Yeah, The Princess Bride is like my dad's favorite book ever. So.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's just people. Like I like people who show them as good friends as well. Like they don't get back together, but they get along with each other. That's kind of how I portrayed them in my second story. And the only one I don't like is two things. Number one, when people have just even years later, Toriel is still hostile and snippy towards Asgore. And then anyone who has her shack up with Sans. Toriel is a hard no.
Yeah, I have no issues with the ship, but I personally view it like I think Sans is too lazy for that kind of commitment.
Yes.
Sans is ace just because he's too lazy for a relationship.
That's the best excuse.
Like, I'd want to be in a relationship, but that's a lot of work.
I gotta make myself look
asexual
nice.
by apathy.
I don't have the backbone.
Yeah. Or that
Yes.
aposexual? No, that sounds like you like the flying buffalo from Avatar. So call it something else. No.
No.
I mean, I love
Um,
Appa,
Actually,
but
never watched
I don't
that
love
show.
that
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. Again, the filter sometimes just doesn't work. I'll take things that should have stayed in my head for 400, Alex.
um, I was gonna say something, and then I forgot.
It's all right.
I'll remember it at the most inopportune time. Don't worry.
Yeah, it'll
That's the
be like
perfect
late
time.
at night. Cupcake's about to fall asleep, and then she'll be like, "That's what I was trying to say."
Well, yeah, because that's when you come up with the best counter arguments to things people say, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When you're in the shower or something, you're like 4 hours later. I should have said that. Dang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That would have been
For me,
such a
it's
good
like
burn.
3
I
a.m. when
remember.
I'm trying to fall asleep.
I remembered. Okay, Jake, are you familiar with the Winter Alarm Clock dialogue that Toby released a couple years ago?
Yes, I am.
In what I really like about that, well, I like a lot of things about that, but one of the things that I find really interesting that I think people kind of overlooked was the fact that at no point was Toriel hostile towards Asgore, and that is canon dialogue. Like they even she even smiled while talking to him, and like they seemed to have a good conversation. And I was just like, "Huh, I
Yeah.
like this."
Well, that's the thing. Like, like even in the credits for True Pacifist, you see him working at her school, and so yeah, I like the alarm clock. When I first learned about it, did reveal a whole lot, like about how, because I know Toby at one point said he doesn't see Asgore and Toriel getting back together, in which I respect his authorial intent. However, this is fan fiction, the ultimate end state of I reject reality and substitute my own. But also the biggest insight I took away from that is that when you pair it with Flowey, when you pair what he said in that with what he says when you boot up the game after True Pacifist, me and a lot of other people have started to believe that means that he actually does still he retained his emotions somehow. He's just doesn't really know how to express them anymore. And that was actually what made me want to write By Any Other Name, my second story. Well, the things like he smiles and he begs you not to reset the game to let everyone live their lives, which is actually why I never played the game again. I'm a coward. Well, no, it's even worse than that, because I beat the game on the computer, and then like a few months later, I'm gonna try it again. I boot it up, and Flowey says, "Please don't reset," and I'm like, "Crap, okay," but I want to play the game, so I went and bought it on PlayStation.
Let's buy 2 different copies.
I'm so much of a coward. And now I want to play it again, but I can't. I'm gonna have to go buy an Xbox just to play it again.
The true gamer move.
Nah, man, get a Nintendo Switch.
Either one.
Nintendo Switch is better.
I want to say something, but
Oh,
at the
he's a
same time, I don't
Nintendo
know if I can say
fanboy.
it.
Ooh. I am too, but
Says the person whose comfort character is Mario.
yes.
I always find it awkward when I talk about Undertale with people, and then it's like people are like, I grew so attached to the characters, and I love them so much, I couldn't bring myself to erase the file, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm just a terrible person or if or what, because I indulged and played every possible route of the game.
Monster.
So.
It's okay, Demo. Don't worry about it. You are a terrible person.
Hey, the thing that Undertale taught me is that everybody has a bit of a terrible person in them.
Yeah.
Everybody has a bit of good. Everybody has a bit of bad.
Yeah, I only ever went to the pacifist route. Like, I actually got, this is how stupid I am. The first time I played the game, I actually ended up killing Toriel because
Same.
because the game had shown that you can only use the mercy button when their name is yellow, and her
Yeah,
name never
like,
chose
Yeah.
yellow. So
I
despite
didn't know you
her
were supposed to
constantly
just
saying,
repeat
"Can you
it.
show mercy?" I just attacked her, and then she died, and I felt really, really bad about it.
Same.
And then I think, like most people, I reset the game when and then Flowey called me out on it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, get out of my head, Flower!"
Nah, with me when I played it, I went through the whole rest of the game
Yeah,
after
same.
killing her, and then I ended up having to replay the whole game again to
And
get past this ending.
I was crying at the Sans conversation because I'm like, I didn't mean to kill her.
The level of violence.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I love about Undertale is the fact that with most games, like if you want to get like the good ending, you have to do a whole lot of extra steps. But with Undertale, you have to work hard to get the genocide ending. Like you got to walk
Yeah.
through areas constantly and kill everything. It's a lot
Same
more
with-
work. And then the game calls you out, like, why are you doing this? Just because you can, and you think that you can, that means you have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the weird round Deltarune. There's basically no way to get it unless you specifically go out of your way to try to get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which again, I never did,
Uh,
because I'm again, I just
hey,
I'm just
I'm
too
a big
nice to
softy
die.
too. I never did it. I never did it either.
Well,
I
guess
tried
my,
to, but I
my-
did. I tried to, but I didn't do it right. And
It's just
and I reset
no.
at the end.
Yeah. It's just Noelle is too pure and innocent for me to gaslight her like that.
Well, this you know what I said before? I think that my status as an evil person just went up a couple more notches.
Your love increased.
Your LV.
Oh no, I didn't reset. I just got stuck at Spamton for like ever, and I'm like, heck, I give up. You win, Spamton. You win.
I actually did that on the first
Let
try.
your deals rain from above.
That's the thing I love about the game is like the story is like really serious and this dark story, and then you're in the Judgment Hall and he talks about love is an acronym for levels of violence and XP is execution points, and I'm like, it's so silly, It's like,
Yeah.
but it's still really messed up. That's one of those multiple layer of subversions that Undertale has.
It's I don't know if it's supposed to be kind of like satirical. But
well, I think it is more just like it was Toby. It's you don't think, like you said, in an RPG, you don't think about the level 1 slime enemies you killed and grind for XP. You just do it. It's what you do. And the biggest mechanic of Undertale was simply asking the question, well, why? Like, why are you killing it? Do you have to?
it's like that frog has a family.
Exactly.
That frog has a family, you jerk.
That boss monster has a family. Oh wait, no chance he doesn't.
You
If
can't
a rock
get
has
out.
a family.
Still lying there, and I apologize.
You sound kind of echoey.
Yeah, you're kind of drowning yourself out. I don't know what's happening.
I did?
Oh,
No,
now you sound
you're
fine.
better now. I don't know what's going on.
I was refilling my glass of water, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh well.
Nice.
I have returned. I'm sure you're all on
Yay.
Twitter.
You're going back on to like just kind of general questions. What do you think of the like the Undertale community overall?
Honestly, I gotta be honest. I never really interacted with fandoms before the My Little Pony fandom. When I found the show back in 2011, and I first started getting into it and whatnot, and so I didn't know the reputation fandoms had, like that they're all weird and whatever. But yeah, I will say though, again, I never really got into Undertale. I did hear about it, and I heard bad things about the fandom. That it's all that literally all they care about is AUs about songs, and while that is true, anyway, no. Sans is a great character. He's just a great side character. Anyway. But no, I heard that it's horrible stuff. But then I got here, and yeah, everyone's really friendly, and there's a lot of beautiful art. Like, is there messed up, weird art? Of course there is, but there's weird art about everything.
That's with
you know?
everything.
True. It's like one of the rules of the internet, right?
Exactly. Rule 34. If it exists, there's
If
porn
it
of it.
exists, then there's
Yep. But yeah, it's like so far, like I haven't seen anything that makes this fandom stand out as especially horrible. So I think honestly, I think it's just because for a while there it was everywhere. You know, like you were seeing songs everywhere. The whole "have a bad time," "get dunked on," all that stuff with Megalovania remixes were freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not even the best song in the game. Oh man.
It's not. It just happens to go with everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good song. It's just like, and plus I think it's because people like songs because he's mysterious and he has that sort of relatable nihilism to him. But,
I liked him because Funny Bone Man.
Funny Bone Man.
Funny Bone Man Funny Bone Man. Funny Bone Man say the pun joke.
Yeah.
And then I liked Papyrus because Tall Funny Bone Man.
Yeah. Papyrus is great, but he's one of the
before we go too far into this, I wanted to say your inclusion of Monster Kid into your what was it? To Save Love. I love because as Pasta knows, I absolutely love Monster Kid, and I think he's not, and I think that Monster Kid isn't used in enough things. So
yeah, I agree. That's
character.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite headcanons is that Frisk, Monster Kid, and Azrael, and even Kara they're all friends. Because
dude,
I don't know,
before them being like four friends and stuff, I'm just like, oh yes, that's like there's some artwork by what was their name? Polaris and stuff of like them like all running together, and also Frisk and Azrael with fireworks and all that, and. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, that's so good. Also, the other day I found this thing of just like, of like Azrael, Frisk, and MK all just like in a group hug and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm getting diabetes from how sweet this shit is.
Yeah, no, like I would say, there's an artist called Yukimura 4. That he has a comic series called
that's who I was talking about. Yeah.
Like I think he draws he has probably my favorite rendition of Monster Kid ever because he's just this ball of energy and of enthusiasm, and he's great. I love him. Monster Kid needs more love. Yes.
Yes.
Which is also why I included him in he's in By Any Other Name as well, my second story.
Ooh.
Oh.
He actually has speaking lines on that one.
Yeah, what do you call it?
I can
thought it was
talk.
kinda interesting.
Awesome.
Yo, yeah, I can talk.
I thought it was interesting you gave Monster Kid in your story an actual name, as opposed to like just referring to him as Monster Kid. You called him, I believe, Percival.
Percival, yes. Yeah, I did that because well, first off, we call him Monster Kid because I think that's the name of his sprite in the files. But like from a realistic standpoint, like, is his name Monster Kid? So like, what's his mom's name? Monster Woman? So I thought he has to have a name.
The game is silly enough where that could be the case.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Granted. But I thought it'd be funny that that's like a monster. That's like a nickname he adopted, and he really has this embarrassing name, and Percival was the first one that came up that sounded really like a name a kid would be embarrassed about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was it? The one comic, by Absolute Dream.
Over the Void.
Over the Void. Yeah, that one. They call Monster Kid just MK in that, like as a nickname.
MK.
Yeah, that's the name I give him too. Or I think everyone has them call him MK if they have.
Okay.
Yeah. I had canon that his actual name, like, actually initials to MK.
Yeah. But no, his name is Monst R Kid. Like R is his middle initial. Monst R Kid.
Monst R Kid.
Like Croaky Robot, you know.
Toys R Us, Monster.
Exactly.
I don't remember, like, I believe in the Ask Blog, Ask Frisk and Company, they were, I think it was, like, something, I think they, like, hand-waved it by saying, like, one day, Monster Kid's parents just, came up to Asgore and was like, oh, great king, can you please name our child? And he was just like, oh, flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story I went with in my story is that no is that Frisk was after the game. Frisk went to the underground looking for him, but didn't know his name, so we referred to him as hey, where's that that monster kid? And he goes, Monster Kid, yeah, that's my name, Monster Kid.
Don't question it.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought your name. Your name's literally Monster Kid? Yes, and nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, there's what the guy's name is Nice Cream Guy or Nice Cream Man, so you know.
I think he's actually listed in the credits as Monster Kid, so
I think so. Yeah.
that's where I got it from, anyway.
Yeah.
Yo,
Okay,
Percival is not a cool name. Monster Kid, now that's a cool name.
What are some of your favorite works from the Undertale community?
Hoo boy. Okay, I've waited for this one. Because the only thing I love more than talking about my stuff is talking about my friends' stuff or works I respect. So I will say that my favorite fanfic that I have read in the fandom is called His Duties. It's by an author called Anonymous, and it's a story that takes place, I think, about a year after the game, and it centers around Asgore and how he's adjusting to life overhead, and how he and Toriel are dealing with each other and Flowey and stuff, and it is very good. I'll link it in the chat, so if you want to post it somewhere, you can. It's just an amazing story. The other one I would say is one of the sweetest, most cavity-inducing stories I've ever read. Is called Worth 1,000 Words by a friend of mine, or he is a friend now, called Coram Dio. And the story focuses on Kara and how she reacted, like how the plan, quote unquote, came to be and how things went wrong and dealing with, her feelings on it and reconciliation and stuff. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. I cannot recommend it enough. If I can keep going. So, as far as artwork goes, I think my favorite comics. I mean, of course, there's the standards like Over the Void and Endertale, but I really think Yukimura's Souls Link is probably my favorite one right now, just because it is, like I said, it's fantastic in every way. It's a story about how it takes place directly after the game when Frisk has saved Azrael, and now they're trying to make their way back to the throne room to see Toriel and Asgore. It's a fantastic story. I'll try to find a link to the first one so you can post it somewhere. Here it is. All right. So there's that. And then as far as I have an animation. Well, it's actually an animatic that was made a few years ago, but apparently has been abandoned. But even the animatic by itself is still fantastic. It's called The King Under the Mountain, and it's a dude who was gonna, made a little animatic about an animation that was going to be about the Asgore fight at the end, and it's very touching. And a couple moments, even in the rough state, kind of like, oh, please. So, highly recommend that. And I'll stop there because I could go on for hours.
There's so many good works.
Yeah, we totally don't get how someone can talk about fan works and stuff all the time. I mean, it's not like we have a whole channel based around it or anything, you know.
What kind of loser would do that?
Yeah. Lame-os.
I'm kidding, please. I'm kidding. So yeah, I love stories about the Dreamer family. That's really it's weird because like when I was in the MLP fandom, and I still am, over there I like a bit of everything. I like reading about a multitude of characters and stories and things like that. But when it comes to Undertale, I'm really just here for the goats. You know, like the goat family, and then Frisk and Kara.
Same.
What?
Same.
What?
He's saying same.
Yeah, it's like I'm here for the goat family. I like to read stories about them, even in stories where they're not all together, but just about them healing, coming together, and dealing with things. It's what I love, and they're all adorable little cinnamon rolls or cinnamon buns, whichever the word is. I forget.
I could
Those
use this to
cinnamon buns are
segue into
in
something
Undertale.
I'm working on, but I'm not going to. So there.
Yeah, what do you who do you think you are? Me back in the day?
It's even to a point where the only fan works I can think of that I don't like are ones that I feel mishandle the goat family characters. So it's bad. I got it bad for these goats, man.
I mean, they are great and soft and adorable.
Exactly. Poofy.
Fluffy. Would
Fluffy
hug.
buns.
Exactly.
This is still kind of Undertale related. What did you think of Deltarune, if you've played through it?
Yes, I have. I played through chapters 1 and 2, and it's weird because I like it, of course. I really enjoyed it, and I like that it is going to be one story with one ending. The frustrating thing is that due to the piecemeal way it's being released, you can't really judge the story yet because right now there's some things I don't I don't like how Toriel was treating Asgore, even though I really think in this upcoming chapter
there's more to it.
Yeah, in this upcoming chapter 3, I think they're going to address that because ostensibly Toriel was in the room when Chris made the new fountain. Spoilers, I guess.
Yep.
So, and then it's also like how does Asriel react? Factor into the story and all this stuff. All we have are theories, and really, no one can say their theory is more, likely than another because we just don't. There's so much we don't know yet.
Yeah.
I will say, if Toby doesn't show us Asriel alive and healthy, this fandom will burn. It will riot.
I mean, Rousey and Asriel seemingly are two different characters, but we still don't know why Rousey looks like Asriel or what he really represents.
And also why he can just hop between dark worlds.
Yeah, he's the only character who can do that.
Yeah, I would say I think my theory is that first of all I think that the whole dark world because remember they said the Darkners their role is to serve Lightners. So my theory is that Asriel or Rousey is sort of Chris's projection of Asriel because you look in the game and the story, you really find that Asriel was Chris's only lifeline. Chris,
Yeah.
Azrael was their best friend, their big brother. They did everything together. So when he left for college, not only did he leave, but like that must have been shortly after their parents divorced. So he's all by himself, and so he gets transported to this dark world, and he creates, a sort of idealized version of his brother or their brother, because that's how it is. And what role that will save, I don't know. My official guess, that has no evidence to back it up whatsoever, is that the final fight of the game, like Chapter 7, it will be against Azrael. But it will be Azrael trying to free Chris from our control.
I have a suspicion that if you continue down the weird route, you're gonna fight Rouse at some point.
Well, Toby said that the game's only going to have one ending. So
yeah, I'm saying that the ultimate ending, I think, might still be the same, but it's like it's something where it's more about, I guess, sort of the journey there as opposed to the actual ending. It's like, are you really satisfied with everything you did?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would like to point out, Lynx Griffin is in the chat. Hi, Lynx.
Hey, Lynx.
Okay.
They add the best possible commentary, which is soft ears. Thank you.
Ears.
Yes, they are. They are indeed nice, big, and floofy. That is true.
Yes.
What's up?
Real professional here. We just go dead silent for something that's supposed to be conscious sound.
Sorry, my brain stopped working. It's currently on the loading screen. Hold on.
I cannot brain. I have the dumb.
Long loading screens. You kind of, we kind of talked about this a bit before, but with your two stories, like By Any Other Name and To Save Love, was there any, like, specific inspirations for them, or?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, because right now I have to be careful how I say part of this, but yes. The big thing when I write stories is it's me not wanting to, like, headcanon dump, but sort of put forth my ideas and sometimes respond to ways I see the fandom acting and, like, treating some characters. And I do my best not to. I don't want to react to specific, stories or comics or whatever. But it just I see a general thing, and if I try to, like, this is how I see it. And so with with By Any Other Name, I wanted to show what it would be like if Flowey still had his emotions and whatnot, and eventually reached a point where he wants to be Azrael again as best as he can, And that whole idea, and like I said, the idea of By Any Other Name, that he's still the same guy. He's still Azrael. He's just also still Flowey. He's the same, as Toriel says in the story. He's the same person, just with new experiences. And so, I really thought that was, especially, for someone that's dealt with trauma, like that kind of continuity of character is really important. Having, again, not turning us into free internet therapy, but dealing with my own experiences with, like, post-traumatic stress and things. The idea of affirming to the person that the person you were before the traumatic event and who you are now is the same person, just with added experiences and sensations, that's really important. And I think that's important to the healing process. That's sort of why for By Any Other Name, and also because I like the catharsis of the reunion, of seeing that big emotional release of, oh, it's you again,
Mm-hmm.
And then with To Save Love, I really wanted to words. Like I said, I wanted to explore Toriel's decisions and actions with a bit more of a critical eye, while still remaining fair. But also, I wanted to dive into Asgore's way of thinking, and that's one of my favorite points I made in the story, if I can toot my own horn for a minute, is in the last chapter when he basically lays out that, the whole plan of bringing back Azrael, he didn't know if it was going to work, but, he was going to try in a way. Like, he knew that 90% chance if it worked or not, it was going to kill him. But he did it anyway because he was just in that mindset. He felt so much guilt over what he did, and then learning over what happened to Azrael. And so, yeah, I wanted to explore the flaws and strengths of both Goat Mom and Goat Dad, and sort of also save Azrael and Kara because they are precious cinnamon buns that deserve to be saved.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, one thing that I see a lot is people in the community vilifying Kara, even though Kara I don't think is like just a one-way character like that.
Well, yeah, like I said, I first saw Kara as the murder demon child because I didn't know any better. But then it was fan works of the, like I said, worth 1,000 words that made me re-examine the situation, and it really made me think of, I think it's more, okay, I don't want to say fun because this is nothing about the situation is fun, but it's more interesting and believable to think that, not Kara isn't like some Rosemary's Baby demon who wants to kill because evil will rule and good is dumb, but she's this abused and scared little girl who got the ability to save her new family and also lash out at those that had harmed her. And then everything just went terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Like, the way I look at it, Kara's true mistake, like the biggest mistake she made, was assuming that Azrael would be willing to kill. Like, that's the way, because again, if she had known him as well, and by the way, yes, I use female pronouns for Kara and male pronouns for Frisk. That's just how I headcanon them. It's not canon, and anyone else's guess is as good as mine. It's just, I get that out of the way because I don't want to upset anyone. But anyway, yes, I love Kara. I think she's a great character, and I especially love when she's saved and she's like, a bit of a grump. Like, she's just kind of a sourpuss. I think that's a great personality for her.
Yeah, the first work that kind of make me think of Kara that way, as like what they would be like after they came back to life, and actually made them sympathetic and stuff to me, was of all things drunk Kara, which is
which one?
Drunk Kara.
Oh, that one, yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, sometimes you just gotta say, fuck this, we're getting shit-faced. Sorry, language, sorry.
It's fine.
That's fine.
It's like, you can tell as it was coming out, I'm like, I shouldn't be saying.
That's alright.
Just don't let it happen again. I'm
Yeah,
kidding,
right.
I'm kidding.
Hey, you say it
I
again,
think-
you can
I think
please
the
from the
rating
podcast.
I think
get
that
the
the rating
bunk.
system and standards are screwed up anyway, so I don't think saying words is like the end of the world.
Yeah. But yeah, I really now I seek out, like, my favorite picks and stories and whatnot. They're all ones that depict the full Dreamer family, which is Toriel, Asgore, and then Azrael, Kara, and Frisk. I love their dynamic. I love seeing them heal and come together. It's heartwarming. It's sort of, that's what I want. I want cute, fluffy goats.
Yes.
Even though sometimes, which is funny because I write dark stories, but I don't like bad things happening to characters I like. Like I said, I only like good things and happy endings, and the first story I ever wrote was literally a murder mystery. So it's like,
just know that same, because
yeah, right.
you're a lot of the stuff you're saying is just like
Yeah, I know I'm not exactly blowing any minds by saying I really like the Dreamer family. I'm not like, it ain't exactly a mic drop in this fandom, but still.
yeah. The thing is with me, it's like you're saying all this stuff, and I'm just like, oh dang, that's like you're fulfilling all my standards, all that sort of thing.
Oh no,
Like
he's
that's all the
meeting all
stuff
my
I like to
standards.
talk about.
You're meeting all my standards.
Oh no.
I love how the fandom has just decided that Papyrus sounds like Skeletor.
Skeletor, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just fits too well for it to not have
I, the
fun,
great
so.
Papyrus.
Uh,
Oh, that's another thing. It's weird. This may be me. I headcanon Asgore and Azrael having Southern accents because for a couple reasons. Number one, the howdies and the gollies and whatnot. But
Yeah.
number two, because I have also always kind of headcanon that Mount Abbott is somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. So the idea of them living up north, but for some reason those two and those two only having these down-home folksy accents is very funny to me. And plus, I just want them to kind of sound like me, you know?
Yeah. I am.
I dropped it.
Yeah. When it comes to, I also headcanon them being in the Pacific Northwest, like somewhere around Washington and stuff, because because I think, okay, let me think about this. Think about the geography and all that, and just their general culture. But also think about how, okay, what would be a place that's, like, progressive enough for it to not be Big Trouble, like, Big Trouble at all that we see in the credits afterwards. But then again, I have a sort of small headcanon about that, where, I basically have the idea of, Flowey makes it, like, a promise of, like, if you actually somehow win, everyone will leave the underground, everyone will be satisfied, and stuff like that. And I always thought, like, hey, maybe that's, like, when we actually do, quote-unquote, beat him and stuff, maybe with Azrael with his godlike power and all that, he actually makes it so that he changes like a fundamental aspect of the universe and makes it so that the humans are accepting of monsters when they come out of the mountain, to make sure that everyone can have a happy ending and stuff. I thought that.
Yeah, my thing is that, like, I see all these, like, comics or AUs and whatnot, or of them coming out and you know, humans being, oh, suspicious, what are these creatures? And admittedly, yeah, there will be a lot of that because, I mean, especially me, like I'm a Christian, so I know that if a bunch of, like, goat-looking monsters came up from the underground, magic, yeah, that would probably turn some heads. Just gonna say.
Not just goat-looking monsters, goat-looking monsters
Skeletons.
Goat-looking monsters that use flipping fire.
Yeah,
Fire,
exactly.
and one hasn't tried it.
It's like tailor-made to freak out certain people. But also, it's more like, I mean, like, have you been... okay, I gotta be careful how I say this. I'm not talking about the stickier stuff. I'm talking about, like, the internet, like, this day, where, like, because, like, if this was, like, 100 years ago when people didn't know anything about the world in general, like, a person, like, in, like, 1905, a person in Texas knew nothing about, like, you know, like, they didn't know what a kangaroo was, because how would a Texan ever been to Australia, right? But, like, in this day and age, when we know so much about the world and about the universe and about all this stuff, if a bunch of monsters came up from the ground, especially ones that look kind of cute like that and are very friendly, like, okay, yeah, the older boomer types would be like, oh, I don't know, I shouldn't trust, but everyone under the age of, like, 40 would be like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Magic is real. Furries are real. Oh, that would actually be a really big discussion in, like, the furry fandom. Like, hey, is it still okay that we dress up like anthros and stuff when there are actual, literal, alive anthros? Is that, like, still morally right?
No, like
Frisk,
racist. Like, Frisk shows Asgore the internet, and 5 minutes later, I've changed my mind. We're staying underground. I'm putting up my own barrier.
It's like,
Hello,
what is
humans.
it?
We are monsters. How? Good to meet you. Never mind.
Hello, Joe.
Hello there,
Well,
big
humans truly
daddy
are so
goat.
evil.
Do you have a big? Do you have a big goat? Do you have a big goat? And as for ending that sentence,
Yeah. I've even well, I'd say once Torio and Azrael learned that people call them Goat Mom and Goat Dad, it's like, but no, I genuinely think that if something like this happened in a modern world, like today, I don't think it would be this big, oh, we can't trust them, we need blah blah. I think, especially again, they have magic that could help solve a lot of our problems, so. And that's sort of why I went. That's sort of why I went with that. With to save love, I flavored the world so when they first came up, there was this sort of trepidation, like, oh, what is this? And then people figured out, oh, they have magic and technology we could never dream of, and oh, they have a crap ton of gold too.
yeah, that was that's one of the justifications in my story I made. It's like, the
Always
dreamers.
remember, greed will always overpower prejudice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the monsters come up from the monsters come up from the mountain, and they're all just like, oh, how are we gonna live and stuff? And they're just like, guys, you still use gold coins as your money. You're good.
Yeah, exactly.
I had back on an old, slightly older topic that we were talking about. I had canon the underground being somewhere else, but that's due to plot reasons for a story that I'm working on. So
yeah, well, because one thing I always thought of, or it struck me when I read a story by a friend a while ago, was we talk. I think I've headcanon it in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, but when you look at the intro video, I mean, if it's accurate at all, you see the humans have swords and shields and spears and whatnot. Well, and it's stuff, but in the story I read, the humans locked them away, but it was the Native Americans that did that. Which I'm like, well, hey, yeah, if it is in America 1,000 years ago, it would have been the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
But also the fact that the Native Americans, they didn't really have that kind of metal craft. So if that's accurate and it happens in a world comparable to ours, that means Ebbet would have to be probably somewhere in Europe or Asia or something where they had, more readily available metal weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you can undo all that simply by saying, alternate universe. That's what the Undertale fandom is best at, right? AUs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's always interesting to see and hear other people's how they interpret the story, what, how they read a character and where they see them going post game. It's always really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I said the only I get if I'm rambling, let me know and I'll stop. Because
No, you're
No,
fine.
No, you're good.
I'm a broadcaster. I literally love the sound of my own voice.
You weirdo.
But no, it's thank you. I appreciate that. But I'll take it as a compliment. But the only AUs or stories I don't like to read are ones where Kara's a murder demon or things like that. I don't like reading that because I like happy feelings. But even with happy, I understand there has to be bad for the good to hit better.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had started one story. It was going to be two-part. The first chapter was immediately after the game when Frisk meets Azrael at the garden, but this time Frisk brings Toriel and Asgore so they can say goodbye to him. And it was this really hard moment where Azrael's losing his emotions and love and started being mean and nasty, and I was like, I feel really bad for writing this.
Aww.
And that's why a lot of those ideas I folded into by another name because I like that one better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's always just those times as a writer you just have those thoughts of you know, I'm just like, oh, that'd be just awful. Just just put it for the reader and the characters through such pain.
Yeah.
And there's like a
Or-
sadistic part of me that's just like, do it, write it, post it.
That's one of the
It's like,
oldest
thank you,
pieces of writing
Palpatine.
advice. Is the one piece of writing advice I heard is always make things worse for your characters, because
Yeah.
because you want them to overcome the challenge and become better, but there's a limit where it's like, okay, we can stop now.
Yeah.
Please don't bully the goats anymore.
Please, they're so young and, well, actually no, but
They're not.
yeah, please,
They're young and
they're just,
innocent, even though Proto Nazgûl are like 1,000 years old, but still.
Speaking of Asgore and all that, my brother and I talk a lot about Undertale sometimes, and one of the things that we kind of discuss about is like, there's always this headcanon that I've always had. It's like, Asgore's father was probably a jerk, like a really big stern jerk.
Funny you say that, Pasta.
Well, it's like, I never really headcanoned any sort of ideas for their parents, honestly. The
Same.
closest I came was I had the idea that Toriel didn't come from royalty. She was like a normal citizen, and then she kind of got swept up in this whole shibboing-a-boing.
Bang bang.
She
Yeah.
was Cinderella.
Also, I did talk about Asgore's father. I named him King Gortel.
Yes.
Because I wanted because we know that old King Fluffy Buns can't name worth beans.
Yeah.
Home, new home,
Yeah.
and so that's why people say Asriel's and Asgore, Toriel. I wanted to give them some credit, so I had a thing where what if it's a boss monster tradition for the child to have the name combining the two parents' names?
Oh my gosh.
Just to give Fluffy Buns a little bit of credit,
Oh my gosh, Jake, you and I had the exact same headcanon.
Hey, great minds, right?
Yes. Darn. What did I name? What did I name him? It was. Darn. I can't. My mind has just gone blank.
My mind is full of
so
goats. I
sad.
can't think.
Yes. I'm so sad. Hold on.
My mind is full of thoughts, yet I cannot speak.
my brain is made of soup. Soup. What kind of soup? I don't know. Ooh.
Snail soup.
I know I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, I gotta find this, or else I'm just gonna be mad at myself the whole day. So you guys go ahead. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Last night, me and my brother were just talking about if this was medieval times and stuff, like the dreamers and the holidays would be seem like noble families and stuff, and we kind of went a bit Game of Thrones with the ideas and stuff, thinking about how the monsters were just petty monster kingdoms and stuff until the humans declared war on them, and they were united by Asmond, which is this ancestor of Asgore and all that, who was basically freaking Aegon the Conqueror from Game of Thrones / A Song of Ice and Fire, and we just went on for that, and then for a while with that, and then we just looked at the time. It's 1:30. We should go to bed. Yeah.
Okay, I remembered it now.
Glad that me just talking about my dumb stuff let you give you time to remember.
No, I was scrolling through notes.
Okay.
So I dropped it again. Uh, uh, how I had Asgore's dad, I named Shadgore, and Asgore's mom was Asrin. So Asrin, Shadgore, Asgore.
Yeah. Kind of.
I misheard you when you first said that, and I thought you said Chad Gore.
Virgin Chad Gore. I believe
The Virgin Toriel versus the Chad Asgore.
Chad Gore.
I believe that was on the Undertale Reddit the last couple days. Just like it was like it was either like the Virgin the Virgin Sans versus the Chad Asgore and stuff like that. Like there's so many different versions of that meme at this point. You can apply it to pretty much anything.
Yeah. I think there was a really stupid version of that meme that I made at one point based on Paper Trail. The Virgin versus Chad meme.
Yeah, I've come up with a couple ideas for that, but I've never like bothered to just open up MS Paint and do a shitty edit. Because that's as much as the meme deserves. I mean, I love that, but I love that meme a good amount of time, but still, it's just like it's kind of meant to be kind of shit.
It's meant to be bad.
Anyways, topic. We had a topic.
You?
Looking at looking at the actual questions that we had. Do you? I guess we can ask this one. Do you have any future Undertale / Deltarune stories in mind that you intend to write?
Yes, actually. Okay, so when I first wrote To Save Love, I had an idea for a whole series of stories. Like, I think there's I don't know, kind of like 4 or something, but it was to sort of continue that story. However, they were all going to be very sort of dark and serious and have sort of that kind of tone. But a few weeks ago, my friend and the writer I mentioned earlier, Core MDO, he made some joke in a Discord about how not enough people are writing happy goats, you know? And I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? That's a point, because also if you also include my Little Pony stuff, like the last 5 stories I've written have been about, dealing with trauma and forgiveness and redemption, and been very sort of bittersweet. And it's like, you know what? No, I want to write something fun. I want to write happy goats. So the idea I came up with was to take all the ideas I had for those other stories that were going to be dark and serious and throw them into one, and instead make it like a comedy, The sort of same things, but like, instead of it being, oh my god, blah, blah, it's, oh, that's kind of funny. So I do it mainly because
that sounds interesting.
No, not black comedy. More of just like, it's hard to describe it without actually explaining it or giving things away. I apologize, but the main reason I want to write it is because I really, really want to write Kara, Asriel, and Frisk interacting with each other. I love the dynamic I have in my head for those 3, and I really want to write that. So that is the next Undertale story I plan to work on, but first, no plan. The first casualty of any operation is the plan, so we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I do want to keep writing for this fandom because I love these characters, and I want to keep throwing out my idea for how things might work and things like that. So,
right, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like that with how when it comes to ideas as writers, it's like, of course, when you actually bother to write something down and stuff, there's like 10, 20 ideas that are just still in your brain, just like, hey, why haven't you wrote me down yet? Because this one takes precedent. And I don't think there's just a lot of ideas that just never get written down, which is sad.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the curse of every writer, is to have 1,000 ideas but no motivation to write them. Or
1,000 ideas, but only 10 of them get seen.
The thing is with me is like, as I start writing things, generally I get more ideas just kind of as I write it than what I originally had in mind. Like I could plan out like a general outline, and I guess when it comes to putting stories together, it's just kind of like you just kind of have a couple. At least for me, I get a couple scenes in my mind, and I'm like, how do I make these scenes connect to make a story?
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big thing of, you have like one or two cool ideas or scenes. Okay, how do I mesh them together? And you got to try to. That's why, like, when I go back and read some of my old stories, like, I can't even see the story. I can just see the stitches of where I moved this scene over here and where I adjusted that, and it's like a patchwork puzzle.
Trying to fit the circle into the square hole. Why won't you fit?
Yeah, with a big enough hammer, it'll fit.
Yeah. But we know that it all fits in the square hole.
Oh, wow. The way you said that made it sound like that was an innuendo of some kind.
No. No.
Because we all know that everything will fit in the square hole. It's like, whoa. I thought we were PG-13 here.
That was a reference. The circle goes in the square hole. The triangle, it goes in the square hole. Well, what we have here.
That sounds familiar. What's that from?
It goes in the square hole. I'll find the video. Of course, it's at the top.
It's fine.
There it is.
Ah, that one. Okay, yeah, I've seen that before.
It's been a while since I saw that. Anyways, well, I'm going for about, how long have you been going for? I've been going for about
almost an hour and a half.
Over an hour.
Yeah, about an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
Hey, if y'all are sick of me, let me know and I'll leave. We can stop.
Well, I always try to...
Again, I'm a broadcaster. I love the sound of my own voice. I will literally talk all day.
Well...
I'll sit here and read War and Peace if that's what you want. Come on. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. That's not War and Peace. What's wrong with you?
No, that's not War and Peace.
As soon as you said that, I'm just like, I just wanted to say, like, when's my War and Peace Undertale fanfic coming out? I mean, I'm sure there's, like, Undertale fanfics that are about as long as War and Peace, but...
There's a story over on FanFiction, the MLP fanfiction website, that has been going since 2012, and is up to, I believe it's now up to 3.2 million words.
Oh my gosh.
And it's still going.
Long story.
Yep.
Woof.
Actually, I'm going to look that up real quick. I can't remember if that is with the... Here.
All right.
That was serious. I mean, it's MLP, so it's not like, to hear, but let's see. Oh, by word count? Let's see. Oh, no. Yeah, the story is called... Diaries of a Madman, and it is at 3.2 million words. And it started, first chapter was in November of 2012, and it updated on the 21st of March of this year.
I'm just like, man, the commitment.
Yeah. Like at that point, it's like, I mean, that's not even you're telling a story. That's you don't know how to end your story. It's like we'll just throw in this and this. It's like it's like at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's like let it go.
all I can think about with the story that long is like, man, George R. R. Martin has some competition. Like, seriously, Winds of Winter is supposed to be, like, I believe about double the size of A Dance with Dragons, and that was already split into 2 volumes with how freaking big it was. And I'm just like, oh my god. I'm just like, oh my god, how big is this going to be? I mean, you can already use the Game of Thrones books as freaking bludgeoning devices already. And I mean, he had a lot to do with just one book too, so I completely understand. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Also, he has all the head pressure on him since the TV show ended so poorly.
Yeah, that wasn't the best ending. More interventions
I
on.
want a hot dog.
They my brother came in and he said they were making hot dogs and I'm like, yes, I would like a hot dog. That's what happened.
I want one.
If you want a good little ramen hack, what I found is you take some ramen noodles and you make them. You cut up a hot dog, put it in the water, and then also throw in a tablespoon of gochujang, which is a Korean chili paste. It's really spicy. It's delicious.
Yeah, I'm not really into spice, that's the thing.
I like spice. I'm just a wimp.
So I like spice as long as it informs the flavor. Like, I like spicy as in, wow, this has got some serious kick to it and it's delicious. I don't like, oh my god, my sinuses are melting. My god, why have you forsaken me?
Yeah, my ramen hacks are just to fry an egg and put some bacon in it.
That works too.
Dang it, y'all making me hungry. I still haven't eaten anything today.
Yeah,
Yes.
Line.
Yes.
Line.
Where's my understudy when I need it?
I cannot think of anything else to talk about.
Well, I guess we should just...
Y'all the ones in charge, man. Y'all, if y'all want to cut it off, just cut it off, all right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll
we've been
keep
going
going.
for about an hour and a half, and that's usually how long I want to go with these things, so... yeah. Anyways, let's wrap this stuff up.
Yes.
Thank you all for coming today. Thank you, Cupcake, as always, for being a wonderful co-host, and thank you, Demophone, for having a very good first round of being a co-host. And...
do I get 5 stars?
Can't call it
let's be realistic here.
You get 5 Noel and Susie's kissing out of 5.
What is this rating system?
Okay, fine, Cupcake. You get 5 cupcakes with little ducks on them out of 5.
Hey, there we go. That's the correct one.
Can I have 5 Asgorio kissing pics out of 5?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
That's what that stuff gives me life.
Yes.
Just be glad your ship is more popular than my OTP.
Like this
It's
one here.
okay,
This
Pasta. It's okay.
one of my favorite pics right there. I'll just put it in the chat for you.
Oh yeah. uh, Alphys just being Alphys. I love Montakin's face. Like, oh my gosh.
Like, yo, the headmistress is kissing the groundskeeper.
You know who they were king and queen, right? They were king and queen. I was a kid. I didn't pay attention to politics. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I mean, Asgore Lily went to come visit him. That's a plot point in the game. That's one of the things that's supposed to show you that Asgore's more human than he would previously think. All right. Anyways, yeah, and most of all, thank you, Jake, the army guy, for coming. You have been a wonderful guest.
Thank you very much. Honestly, I was seriously a little stunned when you actually asked me on here. I mean, I love telling stories. I love entertaining people, and so even if that's just me acting like a jackass with a microphone in my hand, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on here. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to have you on too. So.
Yeah. If anyone wants to read my stuff on AO3, Archive of Our Own, I am Jake the Army Guy. I am also Jake the Army Guy on femfiction.net. If you care to read my Little Pony stuff, I'm very proud of that stuff too. Anyway, either way, y'all all, as I often say, stay safe, stay free, stay metal.
Yeah. All right,
we're James Hetfield now. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Just to wrap this all up, next time for us on the Deltarune podcast, well, there's either two options. We're gonna meet up for another. Just regular podcast. Probably gonna be a redo with Lynx Griffin of all people, if we can, because since she finished her wonderful paper trail comic, we have a lot to talk about with her. I mean, when we interviewed her the first time, it was pretty much all just Dogs of Future Past talk, even though we had a Deltarune background, which was kind of weird. Yeah. Or if we can't meet up for that, we're definitely going to meet up on the 23rd, because that's going to be the second anniversary of the podcast. Woo!
No, it can't be 2 years already.
Just think, 2 years ago, we all thought 2 years ago we were all stuck inside, and now we're still stuck inside, but we're doing it of our own volition. Dang it!
It's not a lockdown. It's not having a social life.
Yeah.
No,
important difference.
We have social lives, they're just on the internet.
Exactly.
It's like Alfie says.
I'm going to stay in home all day. The government wants you to stay in home all day. Hey, well, now I don't want to.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you all for coming. Have yourselves a great night. Take care. And remember, stay determined.
Stay determined.
Be determined.
And we'll see you all next